I'm really over the moon and I'm really disappointed with myself at the same time. When you spot what I'm doing wrong in the video, let us know in the comment section. Hello, it's me Philip and welcome to another video. This video is all about the Atari Junior here. It looks like it's still got the protective coating on there, but there's a little, I think there's a little ding there, but that's got the plastic still on. I'm sure it has. There's a chip missing out of there, which is, it's alright, it's at the back. Spoke too soon. There's a chip missing out the front and all. Never mind. Now it came disassembled, but the seller has included the screws. And I noticed in the listing someone had been having a go at the power socket there. Now, as it happens, in my mystery box I got some Atari bits and it came with some of these. There's a couple in here. So I've got a couple to choose from. We've got some switches and some joystick ports. So I figure I might be able to make this one good by replacing that, and then if it doesn't power on I can take a look at the 7805. So we're going to do that in this video. I'm just going to swap this out and I'm going to check for shorts on the 7805 before I power it on. Now I don't imagine that this is the actual fault, because why would you go poking around in there if there wasn't a fault? But the first step is to replace that with this one. Can we get a new one put in? Straight in. A new one. It's not a new one. It's been used. Well, it's gone straight in. They look like they might be joined up. I don't know if they're supposed to be joined up or not. Okay, so these are the back two pins on that connector, and they are supposed to be shorted or connected. Right, so before I plug this in, I'm going to check that MOSFET there, that one there, and I'm going to see if it's shorted. There must be a problem with this board, otherwise nobody would have prized that open. I don't know where to look because I've got me screen there and I've got my camera there. I'm getting myself all confused. Right, continuity mode. Doesn't seem to be any shorts, just the middle pin going to ground, which I think is right. So I will switch that on. Yeah, I'm just checking that cap. There might have been a fault with that one and someone's just had a go, but let's switch it on. I'll hook it up to the TV. I cannot put a card in there. I think you've got to have the case on. Right, let's get my power supply set up. That's an awful connector. That feels terrible. Right, I've got this goes to my power supply. I better find out how many volts I need first. And I've got an RF. So I'm going to turn this around and face it that way. There, because the lead's too short. How much voltage do I need to get this working? Right, I need 9 volts with a positive tip. Let's try that. Yep, close enough. I'm going to spin you around. Hopefully I can pick up the CRT, which is just there. Brilliant. Right, we'll power this on. I haven't got a game in. Right, I've got no... It's taken 295 milliamps, but there's no power light. Could the light be damaged? I wonder if this could be on. I'll put a game in. I've got Adventure. Why does that not go in there? I don't think my game's not working. That presses down, doesn't it? Try a different one. These do work. But there's no... Am I missing something on here? Is this cartridge port damaged? Should there not be something sticking out the top? Brilliant. There's my Atari Woody. And yeah, it's got a couple of prongs on the top. This one is missing. So the only way I can test the game at the moment is to open it up and just put it in there. I wonder if I've got a replacement. Oh no, it's all in one. Don't say it's all in one piece. It's all one piece. That's rubbish, isn't it? Because the top's not in bad condition, but the blooming things have been snapped off. What am I going to do now? I think that might mean, rather than find a replacement top, I've seen little circuit boards with where you can put 8 different games on if you can program the ROM. I think I might have to use one of them and just put it in the middle there like that and not use the original cartridges unless I can find an original one of these in good condition. So right now all I can do is to see if we can get this light on, see if we can get it powered on. I'm going to have to open one of these carts up, which I don't really want to do. Or can I jam this open? I might be able to jam this open. That's an idea. Right, why is it not coming on? So a telltale sign that I noticed earlier was a big dent here. So has something fallen? I mean, that must have taken a big whack if that's dented like that. So presumably this is the switch. Up was on. That's straight through. And if I turn the switch off, now I've got OL. So it's open. If I turn the switch on, straight through. So it looks like the switch is working. This trace, it looks a bit puckered. So do I have continuity along this trace all the way down to here? Yes, I do. I've got a diode there. off the top of my head, this is a 7805. Some of this should be open. I'm sure it should. That's open. That's open. It should be outputting 5 volts if I put 9 volts in. So there's 9 volts in. I've got a light on now. Did I have a light on before, but I just wasn't able to see it? Possibly. It is switching on. Right, so how do I jam this open without breaking it? I think it's open. I'll turn that off. Can I get that in there? Yes, I can. Well, that was a stroke of good luck. Right, we can try that now. I'll spin it around, plug in this RF. We'll point you to the telly. It's over there, look. We'll switch on. Power light is on. Trouble is, I'm not going to be able to tune the blooming thing in. I think I'll have to swap TVs. I've gone over to this LCD. Got antenna there. And I've got a white line going down there. If I turn it off, I've got static, which the camera won't pick up. That's not good, is it? It's a shame because you don't know if it's the blooming game. I mean, that modulator could be damaged if this has had a big hit. I'll try some IPA on these contacts. Nope, same. Lots of static. I just got a white line down the side. So I'll switch off and I'll have to see. I'll take this off and I'll check for any damaged pins or broken solder points around this modulator. Actually, that modulator is looking rather crusty. That doesn't look very good, does it? Take a look at that. It's looking a bit crusty. We'll see if I can prise the top off. Actually, it looks quite nice inside. So I'll take off the bottom plate and I'll see if I can see any broken pins or loose pins. So all these little bendy clips, they're hard to actually see. There we go. Brilliant. I'm going to get that underneath the scope and have a look at the pins. I know this is the TIA chip for the video. So I will have a look around in there and see if I can find something that's wrong. I found a creepy crawly. I think that's called a woolly bear. Or the shell of a woolly bear. Carpet beetle. I'm wondering if I can probe the video signals out of that TIA chip to see if it's outputting a video signal to the RF modulator there. I mean, I know the board must have taken a knock up here in this area, in the cartridge area. If I wiggle that cartridge slot, it's not moving. That end pin looks like it's got a bit of a hole in the solder. Before I do anything drastic, I'm going to plug it back into the TV and I'm going to see if I can tune the TV into a signal, because I might not have been on the right channel. I've had the other Atari plugged in, but that doesn't mean I need that to stay up there. I've just got that auto tuning at the minute. We'll see if it brings up something. It's got DTV there. Well, there's no digital, is there? So I'll press stop. It's got a blank screen. Let's turn this off. Yeah, it's tuned in, but it's just outputting a blank screen when I turn on. Tempted to think that could be the game. It's awful, these old consoles that don't output anything unless the game's in. I'm going to switch this off. I'm going to try this adventure game. Blank screen. So at the moment, I'm at a bit of a loss. I could buy one of those. I could buy one of the Retrofix advanced composite mods, because that fits on the bottom of that chip down here, and it totally takes out the modulator. But at the moment I'm a bit stuck. That is a damaged pad, and that is actually on that main cap. That's all damaged. We'll put that back in. Is that enough? Let's try it. Okay, so we soldered the negative part of this cap. We're switched on. I'll switch on here. I've still got nothing. It's got to be tuned in correctly. Just going to spray some contact cleaner in there. It's bringing up a little bit of muck. Try again. Plug the power in. Switch on. It's trying. What's these buttons on the top do? Select and reset. Colour black and white. I'm on colour. I've got channel 23 here. I don't think it does anything. There's nothing on the board. That must be perhaps an American thing. What happens if I pull my AV out there and put it straight into there? Will that make a difference? No. Brilliant. Right, keep looking. Just checking this, and I've got 9 volts on the cap. I've got 9 volts going into the 7805, and I've got 5 volts coming out. I'm going to look to see if I can find a pinout for this and see if it's outputting in the video signal. Right, I'm on the Retro 6 wiki, which is a very good source of information, and I've got Atari television interface TIA PAL version. So I've got audio. See, I'm not getting any audio. I wonder if I can plug my audio probe into there and see if the game is running. Thing is, I've got colour, C-Sync, Luma 1, 2 and 3. I haven't really got a video signal that I can identify. I could put the scope on, but I could put an audio probe on audio there, pin 13. So if the game's running, I should have some audio on pin 13, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That one there. So this is my little audio probe. So I've got my desktop speakers plugged in. This has to go to ground, which I'll plug it into the RF modulator case. And I'm going to plug this end into my desktop speakers. I'm going to turn my desktop speakers down, and I'm going to probe the audio pin, which is pin 13, and I'm on asteroids there, but I've got no audio out. Is that grounded? It's got to be grounded. So I don't think that's running. I'm a bit confused because I got a picture, well, I got a blank screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little mini oscilloscope, plug that into ground, and I'm going to hook this up. That's on ground. That one can go on there. And I'll probe pin 13 again. And if I press auto, nothing. Let's go back to here. And audio was pin 13. C-Sync was pin 2. I'm just checking I do have a clock signal on the TIA chip. There's a little clock signal there on pin 11. So I've got 5 volts on pin 20 and a clock signal. So it looks like the chip is on and working. If I take another look at the schematic for this, let's have a look. Pin 2 on the TIA chip is C-Sync. And if I probe pin 2 is outputting a signal. Now I don't know if that's the right signal, but it's definitely doing something. So after that, I had a bit of a prod around the other components. Chose a random resistor there. I've got stuff happening on the board, but I came to this little transistor and it looks like it's shorted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that one. It's a 3904, and if I bring up the schematic for it, it's down here, and it seems this is it, Q4, and it's linked to the Luma 0, Luma 1, so that might be why I'm not getting a display. So I'll swap that out and I'll see what happens next. Let's have a look. No, it's not shorted. That might be okay. So those two pads are shorted. Are they supposed to be? I wouldn't have thought so. So the bottom pad comes to this component here. And the pad on the right, this one, the pad on the right here comes to this component, which looks like this one. This is shortened. I don't know what these three are. That looks like a resistor, but it's quite big. It might be an inductor. I've been caught out before. And if that's the case, that should be shorted. I'll have to have another look at that schematic. Those two clear components say 53 and 54. So it looks like I've got capacitor 53, 54. If that's Q4 and that is going through L8, that would come up as a short, wouldn't it? I don't know what that is. I've got a short going through there, but it might be related to this inductor I think I'll pop a leg off this and see what the board says underneath. L10. It is an inductor, so it should be shorted. I've got a game in the cartridge slot, and this is pin 7, which is LUM0, Luma, I would imagine, I think. So if I turn the system off, I pull the game out, so it's got nothing to output. I go back on pin 7 and switch on. It's exactly the same. What's that? Pin 1, 2, 3, 4. Pin 4 is 0, 0, and it goes up to A2, which is the next chip up, I think. But that Luma, those Lumas just output the same whether I've got a game in or not. I've been working on this Atari joystick. I've done one of them little mods where you take the old rubbish buttons off and put in these little clicky ones. So I'm just going to leave it like that and get on with the rest of the video fixing this Atari Junior. Right, well, I'm not getting very far. Just for peace of mind, I'm going to swap out this main capacitor because I've already got some spares. So I'm assuming the arrows point to negative, so we'll go in that way. Right, I'm going to hook the TV up and see if that makes any difference. I'm still not convinced there's an actual fault. It might be a problem with the TV. I've just put the case top back on to test this, and the slot is not in the middle, and the slot's not in the middle here, and I can't work out why the game wouldn't go in. So it appears that you have to have the bloomin'... has that got to be facing backwards? Because I've had it facing forwards. I'm going to be really annoyed with myself and whoever designed this, if that's actually working and I've had it in the bloomin' wrong way all this time. I can't believe it. I don't believe it. If I have had the game plugged in the wrong way, if it's sending voltage to the cartridge, I might have broke the cartridge. Right, I'm going to switch on. Oh my god! I've had the bloomin' cartridge in the wrong way. I don't believe it. Well, I fixed it. What an idiot. I've spent bloomin' I've been tracing blooming signals and all sorts. I don't know if I'm supposed to have sound. I'm sorry about the light. Look at that. That's actually not a bad picture on there. Oh God. Right, I've got a controller plugged in. This is one I've been modding. It's got clicky switches. Right, I've got a controller plugged in. Switch on. Select. So select's working. Oh. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. I'm really over the moon and I'm really disappointed with myself at the same time. Well, there you go. It's working. I will not be making that mistake again. Hopefully. If you've noticed my mistake earlier, I do apologise. It's the first time I've had one of these consoles. I can't believe it. I'll try this adventure one. Brilliant, that works. Excellent. I think I'll have a play on this one. The picture's not too bad on this, so I'm not going to try and do a composite mod on it. The problem I've got with this one is the little game tabs are broken off. So what I have to do, I have to press the cover in manually and then squeeze it to put it in. But obviously I've been putting it in the wrong blooming way around all this time. So could have saved myself a couple of hours had I known. Yeah, perfect. Right, so I need a fix for these broken tabs. I think you can get a 3D printed cover that sits on top, or, and this might be a bit more interesting for me, if I buy one of those multi-game carts and do a little bit of programming on it, which I've never done before. I quite like that idea, because those cards are just bare boards and that'll just sit in there and you can get about 8 games on, I think, and use the little dip switches. So I might do that. So this was my rather embarrassing contribution to Atari. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.